The Jamaican National Championships once again delivered one of the strongest women's sprint races of the season. In this video, we take a detailed look at the women's 100-meter final featuring some of the biggest names in global athletics, including Shericka Jackson, Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, Tia Clayton, Natasha Morrison, and several other elite Jamaican sprinters fighting for national supremacy. This race was important not only because of the names involved, but because it offered a clear look at the current state of women's sprinting ahead of the biggest international competitions. Jamaica continues to dominate the sprint world with unmatched depth, and every national final feels like a world championship battle. In this video, we break down the race step by step, analyzing the start, acceleration phases, top-end speed, lane execution, and the technical details that separated the athletes during the most critical moments. Special attention is given to Shericka Jackson and the way her sprint mechanics continue evolving in the 100 meters. Over the past few seasons, she has transformed from an elite 200-meter specialist into one of the most complete sprinters in the world. We analyze her block start, body positioning, stride frequency, and how she handled pressure against experienced competitors. The video also examines the performances of Fraser-Pryce and the younger generation of Jamaican sprinters trying to establish themselves on the global stage. Athletes like Tia Clayton and Alana Reid continue showing enormous potential, and races like this reveal how intense internal competition in Jamaica pushes every athlete to another level. This was not just a fast sprint race. It was a technical and psychological battle between some of the best female sprinters on the planet. And in this analysis, we explain exactly what made this championship final so important for the future of women's sprinting.
From the sidelines. In lane 4, one of the big guns in world athletics, Shericka Jackson. 10:65. She's the third fastest Jamaican woman in history. She's a defending champion and has gotten the silver medal last year in Budapest. Shericka Jackson, the superstar, ready to defend her national championships.
Yeah, Kemba Nelson.
Lane 5, Kemba Nelson, represented elite.
Yeah, 10:88. And so much has been said about her and her form, but she has shown up here and made the national championship final. Once again, she will run from lane number 5.
In lane number 6, I'll just say Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce. Born on the 27th day of December, 1986. That makes her all of 37 years old. She'll be 38 years old this December, 2 days after Christmas. She has won 3 Olympic Games, 10 World Championships, 4 Olympic silver medals, 5 times Diamond League final winner, the greatest of all times at 100 meters. In lane 7, also from MVP track, Natasha Morrison.
No, Natasha, there's no party without her. She always finds herself in the mix. She World Championship finalist back in 2015.
And running out the field from Nike, Alana Reid. She trains with Shakira Richardson and the top 3 girls who finished 1, 2, 3 at the U.S. Trials this year. She is Jamaica's national junior record holder at 10:92. Though 10:86. Tia Clayton, focused, standing beside her training partner, Shericka Jackson.
Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce on screen, the storied competitor.
On your marks.
Woman that has given hope to so many with her resilience and her dedication. She lines up one more time with a fantastic feel to her left and to her right.
Brace yourselves for this now. It can't get any better. If it gets any better, then only a fit Elaine Thompson-Herah would have been added to this classy lineup. The men's 100-meter final. Great anticipation around the National Stadium. and across the globe. Set, bang, away they go. Kemba Nelson, Fraser Price got an excellent start. Tia Clayton is running the race of her life. Shericka Jackson turns on the afterburners now. Spectacular performance. 10.79 the flash time. Shericka Jackson, big performance on the big occasion.
The women's 100-meter final at the Jamaican National Championships once again proved why Jamaica remains the center of global sprinting. Every lane was filled with athletes capable of producing world-class times, Olympic medals, and unforgettable performances. But on this night, the spotlight belonged entirely to Shericka Jackson. Her 10.79 was not just a victory. It was a statement about form, confidence, and evolution as a pure sprinter heading toward the biggest competitions of the season. What made this performance so impressive was not only the final time, but the way Jackson controlled every phase of the race. In previous years, she was often viewed primarily as a devastating 200-meter specialist with incredible top-end speed. Critics sometimes questioned whether her first 30 meters were explosive enough to dominate elite 100-meter fields consistently. In this race, she answered those doubts immediately. Her reaction out of the blocks was sharp, balanced, and aggressive. She did not allow the faster starters around her to gain any meaningful advantage. The first 20 meters were extremely important because the field included some of the best starters in women's sprinting history. Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce remains one of the most explosive athletes ever over the first half of a sprint race. Even at this stage of her legendary career, her acceleration phase is still feared by every competitor. Young talents like Tia Clayton also entered the race with the ability to attack the early stages aggressively. Jackson knew she could not afford a slow beginning. Instead of chasing the race emotionally, she remained technically composed. Her posture during the drive phase looked cleaner than in many of her earlier 100-meter appearances. The transition from acceleration into maximum velocity was smooth, without unnecessary movement in the shoulders or upper body. That efficiency became the decisive factor by the middle of the race. At around 40 meters, the separation started to become visible. Jackson's stride frequency stayed extremely high, while her stride length expanded naturally. This combination is what makes elite sprinting so dangerous. Many athletes can increase turnover early, while others rely mainly on stride length near maximum velocity. Jackson managed both simultaneously. Once she reached full speed, the race was essentially over. The most fascinating part of the performance came between 60 and 90 meters. This is usually the section where athletes begin to tighten under pressure, especially in championship finals loaded with Jamaican stars. Instead, Jackson appeared relaxed. Her face stayed calm, her mechanics remained efficient, and there was no visible deceleration. That is rare even among world-class sprinters. Most athletes begin losing speed slightly in the closing stages. Jackson looked like she was still accelerating. This is why many observers reacted so strongly after the race. Fans are used to seeing Jackson win. They are used to seeing her run fast times, but the level of control she displayed here felt different. It looked less like a desperate championship effort and more like an athlete fully mastering the event. Another important detail was the quality of the field behind her. This was not a weak domestic race with limited competition. Jamaica's national championships often resemble a global final because the country consistently produces elite female sprinters. Natasha Morrison brought experience and championship pedigree. Kemba Nelson added additional depth. Alana Reid represented the next generation of Jamaican sprinting talent. Every mistake in this field gets punished immediately. The psychological significance of defeating such a lineup is massive. Sprinting is not only physical, confidence matters enormously at the elite level. Jackson now carries momentum into international competition, knowing she can defeat Olympic and world champions under pressure. That changes the mentality entering future finals. For Fraser-Pryce, the race also carried important meaning. Even though the victory went to Jackson, the presence of Fraser-Pryce elevated the tension dramatically. Every race involving her becomes historic because of what she represents in the sport. She has dominated women's sprinting across multiple generations and remains one of the greatest sprinters ever. Competing against her still forces younger athletes to perform under maximum pressure. Jackson did not just beat a field, she handled the psychological challenge of racing beside a legend. Tia Clayton's performance was also noteworthy, despite not winning. The young Jamaican continues proving that the country's sprint pipeline remains extraordinary. Her early acceleration showed flashes of future championship potential. The experience gained in races like this is critical for long-term development because competing against athletes such as Jackson and Fraser-Pryce teaches race management at the highest possible level. From a technical perspective, Jackson's race suggests she may still have another level available later in the season. Her mechanics looked efficient rather than strained. Usually when athletes produce near-limit performances, there are visible signs of tension. Arms begin crossing the body, shoulders tighten, and form deteriorates near the finish. Jackson showed almost none of those issues. That is a dangerous sign for the rest of the world. The timing of the performance matters as well. With the Paris Olympics approaching, every elite sprinter is searching for rhythm, health, and confidence. Jackson appears to be building all three simultaneously. Her 200-meter dominance was already established globally, but performances like this strengthen her case as a legitimate favorite in both sprint events. The broader story surrounding Jamaican women's sprinting also continued in this final. For years, the country has maintained an unmatched tradition of elite female speed. From one generation to the next, new stars continue emerging while established legends remain competitive. This environment creates extraordinary internal competition, which often prepares Jamaican athletes better than international races themselves. What separated Jackson in this race was not raw talent alone. It was maturity. She understood exactly when to stay patient, when to increase pressure, and how to maintain technical discipline while running at maximum speed. The final result confirmed her dominance, but the visual impression may have been even more powerful than the clock itself. A 10.79 at the National Championships against this level of opposition sends a direct warning to every Olympic contender. Shericka Jackson is not simply preparing for Paris. She is evolving into an even more complete sprinter than the world has already seen.